Hey guys, Martin here, bringing you another Dragon Ball Z Dokkan battle video. And so today, to keep up that Heroes hype, to keep pushing that Heroes agenda, we are going to take the Heroes team into one of the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone stages. So obviously you guys know, I've always been pushing the Heroes agenda. When the Red Zone was originally released as part of the anniversary, I did try and do as many stages as possible with the Heroes team. Unfortunately, the biggest problem with the Heroes team, I did a stream recently where we tried out some of the other Wicked Bloodline stages. The biggest problem is a lot of the best defensive units on the team rely on RNG for their defense. So, for example, we have the AGL Super Saiyan 3 Trunks, who was in slot 1 on this turn. He has a chance to guard. So, obviously, against some of the harder hitting bosses, if his guard doesn't go off, he can start taking a lot of damage, especially if he gets hit with a super attack. And then we have units like the Int Pan, who, as long as she's dodging, can be very good. She provides support. Each time she dodges, she gets extra defense. But the first couple of attacks that come her way, if she doesn't dodge those, she can take a crazy amount of damage. So the Heroes team, to be honest, I managed to beat, when the Red Zone came out for the anniversary, I beat 4 of the movie bosses stages and 3 of the GT stages. So 7 out of the 14, considering the fact that the anniversary is, what, like 7 months or 7 to 8 months after the Heroes banner comes out, like for global. You know, people always complain the Heroes units age out too quickly, but the hardest content in the game 7 months later, I was able to beat at least the first half of the stages. So for the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone, I am jumping into obviously the Mecha Frieza and King Cold stage. Now admittedly, that is probably the easiest stage out of the 5, right? We tried a couple of runs on the other stages on stream the other day. I did get pretty close on the Frieza one, but obviously bad RNG. Like I say, when it comes down to things like Xenopan not dodging, and you just take crazy amounts of damage. And of course the other problem is, some of the Heroes units don't have the highest stats, and we only have a 170 lead. So of course we have a much lower HP threshold than we do if we're running some of these newer, like 200% leads with a bunch of LRs. Because it really makes a difference when you build a team, even without a 200% lead, when you build a team that has a couple of LRs on it, compared to a team that has no LRs, there's a pretty significant difference in the amount of HP that you have overall. And so that's another thing that makes some of these harder events more difficult, because when enemies are hitting you for such a ridiculous amount with their super attack, but you don't have as much HP as some of the other meta teams, then obviously it's a lot harder to survive those attacks. So all in all, I'm glad we managed to get another Red Zone stage beaten with the Heroes team. Once all the updates come out and everything in November, and we get, hopefully, the 200% lead for Heroes, I do intend to go through and do every single Red Zone stage with the Heroes team. But for now, we'll have to make do with just Frieza and King Cold. So we're running the rotation of AGL Trunks and the Tech Gotenks. Unfortunately, they don't share a ton of links, because Gotenks has some specific like Gotenks links, like Budding Warrior. He also has Fierce Battle, compared to some of the other Super Saiyan 3s. I think all the other Heroes Super Saiyan 3s, in fact, all have Shattering the Limit. So, not the best linking setup, but Tech Gotenks is very good. And obviously getting links like Super Saiyan 3 ones like Over in a Flash, Limit Breaking Form, Super Saiyan obviously. So, I mean, he does work well on the team. He is a very strong unit. I'm looking forward to running the rotation of him and like the STR Xeno Goku once he's gotten his Easy A with the upcoming Hero Celebration. Because, you know, he can put out some decent damage. He's tanking decently well. 130k from a super. Obviously, this is not a no item run. You know, I don't know if... I mean, I guess the easiest stages from like the movie bosses and GT bosses are possible to no item with the Heroes team. But I don't think any of the... more difficult ones will be, unfortunately. So, obviously, the most irritating part about this fight is the fact that the King Cold can seal your units, because we do have a few units on the team, especially the God Trunkses, who get most of their defense from when they super attack. So, them getting sealed is obviously not something that we want to see. We just kind of have to roll with the punches. I'm pretty sure there is at least one turn where God Trunks is the unit that gets sealed. And then Pan, you can see there, eats the first 2 hits and then dodges the 3rd one. Fortunately, dodges King Cold. Now, if the attacks had been the opposite way round in terms of the enemy attacking, and we just eaten 2 attacks straight away from King Cold with type disadvantage, that obviously would not have been good. I think there is a point in this run where we just come very, very close to potentially losing. But funnily enough, this was actually my first attempt at this stage with the team. So did get some good RNG. Obviously, God Trunks, when you're actually on the heroes team, God Trunks is very good. Like after supering, his defense is solid. He tanks most enemies for double-digit damage from normal attacks, as long as he gets to super and does actually get some of his links to go off. So just trying to think about what to do on this rotation, because of course God Trunks is sealed, which, as I previously mentioned, a little bit of an issue for him because he does get a lot of defense on super. But I decided to go ahead and put him in the 2nd slot anyway, and then go ahead and use our Whis, sorry, the last slot. Go ahead and use the Whis, and obviously just praying for him to not get super attacked, because now that he can't super, he's missing out on a bunch of defense. But Trunks eats the super in slot 1 with the guard. Still takes like 68k. But I mean, some of these heroes units, Gotenks does actually have access to one. I have done the showcase for him before. But a lot of these heroes units are just not on a 200% lead. So units like Super Saiyan 3 Trunks obviously going to have a vast improvement once they get that 200% team. It's just annoying the fact that he only has the chance to guard. And of course, Trunks eats the super, so if we hadn't used the Whis, we 100% would have been dead on that turn. Because over like 250k with a Whis active is pretty crazy. So, trying to think about what to do here. As you can see, we are on very low HP. I'm trying very hard here to not pick up same type orbs, because I do not want to get the Dokkan attack with Pan. Because Pan's not going to do any damage. But I obviously really do need to put her in slot 1. Xeno Vegeta's not potentially built up enough. Even though I guess we do have a Whis active, so maybe we could have put him there. But obviously I want to keep Pan on rotation, and I want to get as many links active as possible, so I can get like Super Saiyan from the Super Saiyan 3 Gohanks. Super Saiyan 3 Gohanks actually performed reasonably well. When he's fully built up, his attack stats and his defense are not terrible. The biggest issue, of course, would obviously be if he took a super from King Cold, but he gets a guaranteed additional super as long as there's a heroes unit on rotation with him. So he gets the triple super, and then at least with type advantage and the item active, he takes double-digit damage. So leaves us in a pretty good spot. Now, ideally, what I would have liked to do would be to get the Dokkan attack with God Trunks. And then as the rotation was loading up and I saw there was an attack in slot 1, I was kind of thinking, oh, well, I guess I could get away with getting the Dokkan attack with Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks instead. And, of course, Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks got sealed. So, unfortunately, it means that it comes down to AGL Trunks. And, of course, he didn't super in slot 1. So, I could have just put God Trunks in slot 1. Because God Trunks does share Cold Judgment with Super Saiyan 3 Trunks. So he does get that little bit of extra defense. So I'm actually not sure how much he would take, like in slot 1 pre-attack. But obviously, damage-wise, he would do way more damage than Trunks. 6.3 million with no crit. Not a particularly crazy amount, but as you can see, King Cold is getting pretty close to being finished off here. So decent attack stat from Trunks. We get the crit. We do not get the additional, though. I think we don't get very lucky with additionals at all throughout this run with God Trunks, which is annoying considering because he has that 50% chance to crit as part of his passive, is obviously he's built for full additional. But we are able to take out King Cold with Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks, even though he was sealed, finishing him off with the normal attack. And then this does leave us in a very good spot now, because after the heal from the Dokkan attack, we have 2 int units which we can just keep on rotation. Pan, see, look at that, 24k without dodging, and then she eats the super, 256. So you can see right there, we got lucky from the fact that we just got the big heal from the Dokkan attack, and that is the #1 issue, as I was talking about earlier, that makes the Heroes team so difficult to use in these more difficult events, because most of the units just can't tank hits, and the ones that can rely on RNG, like Pan dodging, Trunks getting his guard. God Trunks can tank hits as long as he's supered first, but he still can't really tank supers. So that's one thing I'm really looking forward to with the update coming in November, because obviously units like Super Saiyan 4 Gohan, he's getting his awakening. He's going to be a very, very good slot 1 unit. Xeno Goku Super Saiyan 3 is getting his Easy A. He's going to be a very strong slot 1 unit. And then, of course, we don't know what the actual new units kits are going to be like. We are potentially going to get a good slot 1 unit for them as well, which is hopefully one or both of the Limit Breaker Super Saiyan 4s are going to be really, really good slot 1 units, because then obviously that's going to help out the physical LR Super Saiyan 4s from the anniversary as well. So lots of interesting stuff to come for the Heroes team. Just as it currently stands, it is a little bit more difficult to beat some of these more difficult events. A little bit of lag in the recording at the end here. I'm not sure why that is happening, but unfortunately the run was recorded on my phone and not actually on the PC. But now that we get down to just Frieza and the team has so many int units, we're not really having much of a struggle here. I probably could have just put Xeno Vegeta in slot 1, but on the off chance that there was going to be a super and then Pan could just dodge, that seemed like the safer way to go. And at least on this turn, she actually does just go ahead and dodge everything. So Frieza gets beaten up by the little girl from the Time Patrol. And there you go. That is Red Zone, Frieza, and King Cold beaten with the Heroes team. Like I say, some of the other stages might be possible, but we tried some of them on stream the other day. Didn't really have a huge amount of success, just thanks to mostly to bad RNG. So I'm looking forward to coming back and steamrolling through the Wicked Bloodline Red Zone once we do get all of the buffs and everything, which hopefully will include a 200% leader with this year's celebration. So let me know what you guys think down below in the comment section. Are you hyped for the Heroes celebration? I, for one, will of course be going all in, rainbowing all the units, because it's great that Heroes is guaranteed featured per multi, because then obviously, you know, you can get a pretty good return on pumping a bunch of stones into that banner. So, very hyped. Let me know what you guys think down below. Have you managed to use the Heroes team to beat any of these difficult stages? Let me know your experience, and let's keep pushing that Heroes agenda down below in the comment section. So, that is going to be it for the video, guys. This has been the Masked Ningen. Smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you are new. Check out the links down below for the Discord and the merch store, and I will see you all again soon. Have a good one.